Can you actually afford to live in Roanoke?
Stay tuned to find out. Hey there, I'm Hal Cohn.
And I'm Chris Cohn. We're with Cohn Realty Group.
If this is your first time or even your 10th time to our channel and you haven't clicked that subscribe button, please make sure you do that now and the little bell icon so that you're notified each and every time that we release a new video about living, working, and playing in the, wait for it, amazing Roanoke Valley.
That's right. We have folks constantly contacting us saying they want to move to or within Roanoke, Salem, Botetourt, or the surrounding areas. So if that's you, your friends, or your family, please get in touch with us. We'd love to answer any questions you have. You can call us, text us, or email us.
Well, welcome to Roanoke. We cannot wait to share with you all about what it's going to cost you to move to Roanoke as you're considering a new place to call home.
Yeah, but before you pack up those boxes and load up the moving truck, let's give you some tips, pointers, and actual numbers that you may be able to use, because you have to make sure you can afford to actually live here first.
Yeah, and you know, anytime that we travel, us being in real estate, of course, we're always looking to see, hey, what's the real estate market doing in the regions that we have actually lived in the past or that we visit when we're just on vacation. So, and we have come to find out that Roanoke really ranks highly in the cost of living index when you're looking for a new place to live.
Totally, and I get sticker shock too when we're traveling and I'm looking for groceries or goods and services, even transportation. I'm like, wait, what? So I'm a little spoiled living here in Roanoke, and we think that if you live here too, you'll find, hopefully, that the prices are very palatable. Do you like
That's
that
right.
word?
Oh yeah, I love that word. and let's tell you all about how palatable Roanoke is. I got that word out. And please make sure you stay to the very end so we can tell you the most important and probably most
interesting. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, probably what you're looking for the most as far as cost of living.
All right, so on this little clipboard here are lots of fun figures, stats. You know, we have a science background, so we really dig all the numbers and research, especially. He's a great researcher. But we've done the research so you don't have to. Although, if I were moving, I would still do some research on my own.
Right.
I encourage you to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so before we dig into these specific numbers, as Chris mentioned, you know, make sure you do your due diligence when it comes to analyzing the numbers and make sure it makes sense to you, because as we were researching, I mean, you could go to 10 different websites and get 10 different numbers. So we tried to pull what we feel like is the most comprehensive and most accurate, but we are not statisticians. We are not the ones that did the actual number crunching to come up with these, but we wanted to make it easy for you to be able to get some insight into what it's going to cost you to live here in Roanoke.
That's right. So let's start with number one, utilities.
Whoop! Power up!
So the cost of electricity overall is about 7% lower than the national average. So that's good. And across the board, you're going to find that Roanoke is pretty much lower than national average on most of these categories in cost of living. So go Roanoke! Yeah,
so should be super appealing to you. And along with electricity, let's also talk about what's hugely important to people right now, because here in 2021, during the pandemic still, a lot of you are still working from home.
Absolutely.
And there are clients that we've talked to that have like video productions that they do and those kind of things. So those are huge, massive files that have to be uploaded and downloaded. So you're going to need a strong internet service provider.
Definitely.
And that's going to cost you anywhere from $40 a month, which, you know, that's not going to be very much bandwidth, all the way up to $250 a month or so to get what you need. And you're going to have options. You're going to have Comcast, you're going to have Cox, you're going to have Glow Fiber now. And if you're out in the country, out in the rural areas, you may have Shentel and some of the other ones that are going to be satellite. And then I just saw something this week, which I haven't told you about, was SatLink. So SatLink, Elon Musk is coming up with a potential option where people in super rural areas can actually have true high-speed internet. It's not guaranteed, but if you pay and hold your spot now, then you could have SatLink. So that means if you want to live in a rural area and you need high-speed internet, you may have that option in the near future.
And a lot of our clients do want that. They want privacy. They come here looking for that land and just, not isolation, but they come here looking for that land and privacy and a place to relax and unwind. but they still need that high-speed internet. They want to feel connected, or they have a job that requires it. So perfect. That's wonderful.
When I saw that, I was like, cha-ching. So hopefully that will be an option for when you move here, if you're one of those who wants to live out in the quote country here in Roanoke.
Yeah, and also talk about phone bills. That's going to run about $170 a month, depending on who you use, your provider, and everything.
Yeah, so we talked about power and internet, some of those essentials. But in order to be able to utilize those, you've got to have energy for yourself. So you're gonna need some food when you're living here.
We love food.
We're about 13% lower than the national average when it comes to your groceries.
That's significant.
That is significant.
That's a whole lot. Yeah. You can buy a lot more food with that.
Yeah, I mean, talking to you, I mean, we think about like with our grocery bill.
Right.
You know, if you were to take ours and take 10 or 13% off like per week, then that's about 80 to 100 bucks a month.
Yeah.
That you could save.
That's a lot. So just to be fully transparent, I know each family shops very differently, but just wanted to share with you our grocery bill. We usually shop at Kroger or Food Lion. There's a fresh market here, and also Earth Fare, which is fantastic. But we usually shop at Kroger every week and a half, I would say average, and we're averaging right around $200 for a family of 4. So if that helps at all, hopefully that'll be beneficial to you.
And we're going through a ice storm like most of the country as we're filming this today. And with that, what are the main things that people decide they're gonna buy the day before snow and ice comes to Roanoke?
Milk, eggs, and bread. And also some wine.
Yeah, we had a post last night from a friend of ours saying that you had to have wine and you're not buying the box wine.
Anyways, so let me give you just a rundown of those specific prices. So bread comes in at about $2.91. Milk is averaging about $1.69. Eggs is about $1.58. So those are your top 3 staples, really, when you think about it. But our groceries, I do like that the food prices are down quite a lot, and you have a variety of food sources too, not just those grocery stores that I mentioned, but also farmers markets are plentiful in the region.
Yeah, and so at the farmers markets, you can get meat, you can get some bread, you can get produce, fruits, veggies, all that stuff.
Honey donuts.
Oh yeah. Those donuts are a staple in life, so right?
But anyways, a lot of the municipalities do have great farmers markets. They're operational almost year-round, but you can find a variety of foods locally sourced there.
So when you're not working from home or you're not hanging out at the house, you're gonna have to travel around. It may be for work, it may be for fun and play, maybe going to some of the amazing festivals once we open back up. So with that, you're gonna need to know about transportation costs. And we're around 17 to 18% lower than the national average.
Woo, that is so awesome. Yeah, and really I think you would enjoy the lower average commute time. And that is, again, if you don't have to work from home, if you don't get to work from home, then we like to enjoy about a 20-minute commute time on average, our citizens here. It really depends on where you are and what time you're traveling and what you're used to, right? Because compared to Atlanta, this is a breeze.
That's right. No matter what time of day, rush hour, whatever, it's always a breeze here compared to Atlanta. It's a matter of what you're used to. Because even here now, it's like, being used to the 20-minute commute, there are times I'm like, come on people, hurry up. It's like, in the grand scheme of things, not a big deal.
Right, but if you're coming from a smaller town or a municipality, you may find that there's a little more traffic than what you're used to. But in general, we do not have a lot of congestion, and that's great for gas utilization and transportation, just overall quality of life. So let's talk about gas. How much did you pay recently? Yeah,
so over at BJ's, because we're members at BJ's, we got a little bit of a discount, but I paid $2.29 a gallon for regular unleaded to put in the one and only Mr. T. That would be our Toyota Tundra that's been in the family since 2006.
A long time.
So, and talking about transportation costs, I'd be remiss if I did not talk about two additional points when it comes to transportation. One is locally here in Roanoke City and the surrounding area, we've got a really economical and fully functioning bus system and trolley system, so that you can get around if you don't have your own vehicle. If you need to use public transportation, you're going to have that option.
And the trolley is just plain fun to ride. It navigates from Carilion Hospital to downtown and just has this, it's a relatively limited line, but it's free. You can hop on and off, and it's fun. It's just fun to travel down the street in a bright red trolley.
It
ding,
is.
Ding.
That's right. And then let's talk about if we're not traveling within the community, but we need to travel outside. So like planes and trains, right? So we've got trains that we can take. We've got an Amtrak station here, so that's an option. But then when you're looking to fly, you are going to need to make connections a lot of times.
Right.
We do have some direct flights to New York and a few major cities down to Charlotte too. But you are going to be paying a little bit higher price when it comes to your airfares here in Roanoke. And whenever I traveled in the past, I didn't mind doing that because I didn't want to drive an hour and a half or 2 hours or 4 hours to a bigger airport. I would rather spend the extra money so that I could have the convenience of leaving out of our small airport here in Roanoke to get where I needed to go.
And plus you love that security was a breeze. You didn't have to get there as early. It's not terribly crowded, and it's just efficiently run in the way of like ease of parking and getting out of the airport. So.
Right. Absolutely, and people can drop you off really simply, and then you don't have to even leave your car there if you don't want to. Now, if by chance you get sick or you have any medical issues,
or just maintenance,
or even maintenance, great news is we have lots of healthcare facilities, doctors, nurses, healthcare professionals that can take care of you.
Right.
When you go to pay for those, whether it's via insurance or private pay, you are going to pay a little bit more than the national average.
But we are really fortunate to have Carilion and Lewis Gale here.
So the good news is with our primary healthcare facilities here, Carilion and Lewis Gale, they're growing to meet the needs of our community and investing in the community. Also, Carilion is a level 1 trauma unit, so if something dire does happen, something bad does happen, you are really close to the level 1 trauma center at Carilion.
Absolutely. I definitely feel like all my healthcare needs have been met, and I feel like if there's any strange thing that I need a specialist for, that I would be able to find it here. So let's dig into some of those numbers because my stats can't wait.
Oh yeah, she can't not use a clipboard.
And my glasses because
right.
they look cool.
Are you able to read with us today?
Yes.
Making sure.
Okay, so on average, this is what you can expect to pay at a doctor's visit. Just a standard doctor's visit is about $111. If you're going to the dentist, look at about $96 a visit. Optometrist will run you about $104. Prescriptions, I read a couple different numbers on this.
And they
it's
do
a
not
little
seem
high.
accurate.
Right, so I'm gonna skip that one. And also, don't forget about your furry friends. We have lots of veterinarians here, and you can expect a doctor's visit for them, or veterinarian's visit for them to be about $50 or so.
One thing we found out is that not all places in the United States have property taxes like we do here in Virginia. I've lived in Georgia, I've lived in North Carolina, I've lived in Florida, and I've lived in Virginia, and most of those places that I've lived, we've always had property taxes. That will make an impact on some of the funds that come out of your pocket each and every year when you move to Virginia.
Yeah, it was interesting. We had some clients visiting, and they were just stunned with the property taxes.
So when we're talking about property taxes, we're talking about things like your automobiles, your trucks, your ATVs, your campers.
Your toys,
kind of, sort of, that are going to be taxed by your municipality. And that's going to be separate from your real estate taxes. Your real estate taxes will be on your actual home. And for real estate taxes, if we want to dig into that just a little bit, because we are realtors and we want you to find a great house here when you move here, is that you're going to probably be anywhere from 1% to the max of about 2% of the tax assessed value of a property. So an example might be, depending on which municipality you're in, if you got a $300,000 house, you got a 1% tax assessed value, you got a 1% tax on that, then the 1% is going to be about $3,000 a year that you're paying in annual taxes on your personal residence.
Whew.
Woo, that was a lot, and I made it through it.
I will say that Roanoke is slightly lower than national average on property taxes. So that's a good surprise there. And the common theme is the higher the property tax, that usually reflects that there's been some solid infrastructure updates, whether that's water lines, sewer lines, or broadband. So you're paying a premium for those updated services.
When you're watching our videos, you hear us talk all the time about the great outdoors and amenities here in the region. So along those lines, we must tell you about the fees for hunting and fishing in our great area.
Yeah, we have lots of private and public lands that you can hunt and fish on, and you can check out some of our other videos to find out specifics. But here's a rundown of licensing fees. So if you want just fishing, you're looking at about $20 a year for a license. And there's lots of variety in all of these, but as just in general, about 20 bucks. And then for hunting, you're looking at also about $20. So if you want the Mac Daddy sportsman deal.
Yeah, because you like to hunt and fish a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
You can hunt for bear, deer, turkey. You can also use archery, muzzle loaders. You can also freshwater fish and do trout fishing for $100 a year for that license. So that's good because it's a variety of a lot of things.
It's going to be the most bang, no pun intended, for your buck. So where are you going to get the most bang for your buck? Or should I say the most savings in your wallet? That's going to be in housing. So housing, if you're buying a house, the median home price here in Roanoke, here the first part of 2021, median home price is around $228,000. And that's your typical, for the most part, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Could be a ranch, could be a colonial, depending on what area of town that you're in.
Yeah, I think what we're really trying to say is you're gonna get a significant savings here at Roanoke, coming in about 18% lower than the national average in housing. That's huge. Yes, you can get much more bang for your buck in the housing and a lot more, like you said, money in your wallet.
Yeah, and if you're not ready to buy, you need to rent. So let's tell them about rentals as far as apartments. What's that going to cost us to be fair to the rental market?
Yeah, and a lot of people do come here and rent first, look for homes, and I think that's a great way to do it. You can really get to know the area. We'll help you if you'd like us to. But if you're renting a 3-bedroom place, you can look at about $1,100 for rent per month versus the U.S. average, which is a little over $1,500 a month. So a little bit of savings there.
It's like 400 bucks. Impressive.
Yeah, but that's close to an average mortgage too.
Yeah.
So think about that. Renting and buying really isn't that far off.
Right. So you're going to have a tremendous savings here in Roanoke when it comes to cost of living versus the national average. It's going to be about 12 to 14% lower here in the Roanoke Valley.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, call us, text us, or email us. But right now, I'm going to go back and do some more research because this has been pretty cool.